Hello guys, welcome to a new video. So Tomb Raider has been around for almost 3 decades, and during that time the series had some incredible highs and some surprising lows. But one thing that really shows the impact of each game is how well it sold. In this video I'm going through the sales of every Tomb Raider game. Let's see which games became massive hits, which ones struggled, and how the franchise evolved through its numbers. Tomb Raider Anniversary. It sold 1.3 million. I was really surprised to see that Tomb Raider Anniversary ended up with the lowest sales in the series. It's a solid game with a great blend of a classic Tomb Raider level design and the faster, more modern style introduced in Legend. It's just a shame that several areas from the original game were cut or heavily simplified, which made some long-time fans feel that the remake didn't fully capture the scale and the atmosphere of the original adventure. Another reason for its weak performance was the lack of marketing. The game received almost no promotion compared to Legend, so a lot of casual players didn't even know a remake had been released. And considering the chaotic development, starting with core design and then shifting to crystal dynamics. Tomb Raider Chronicles, 1.5 million sales. Released at the very end of PlayStation 1 era, Tomb Raider Chronicles is often seen as the forgotten game of the classic series. By then, a lot of players were already tired of the franchise because each game felt very similar, with only small changes from year to year. And since the PS2 was coming out, many people had already moved on to newer games and consoles. The story also didn't help. Instead of continue the ending of The Last Revelation, the game is split into 4 separate flashback stories that don't connect to each other or to the main plot. Many fans felt this format didn't add anything and only avoided answering the one question everyone wanted to know: if Lara was alive. Because of that, the game feels like a filler made just to keep the series going. And I've said a lot of negative things, but even so, it's kind of funny because this is actually my favorite PS1 Tomb Raider. Probably because it was the first one that I played. So yeah, I also understand why a lot of people didn't enjoy it. Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness. It sold 2.5 million. There was a strong hype at the start which helped Angel of Darkness sell well in the first weeks. But once people start talking about the bugs, crashes and awkward controls, sales dropped fast. It still sold enough to appear on charts, but not enough to save core design. Over time, Angel of Darkness became known by many fans as the weakest game in the series because of how difficult and frustrating it can be to play. What hurts the most is that it had potential to be something amazing. The ideas were great, but the execution wasn't. Even so, the game still has a special group of fans, including me, and the story, the music, and the environments are really impressive, and those elements keep the game memorable despite all the issues. Tomb Raider Underworld. It sold 3.8 million. Tomb Raider Underworld felt like a step down compared to the 2 games that came before it. It had more bugs, unpolished animations, and a camera that often made platforming harder than it needed to be. The lack of boss fights, no Croft Manor, and the missing fun extras also made the game feel empty. Nothing truly new was added, and even the story, which was supposed to close the trilogy, ended in a rushed and disappointing way for many fans. Still, the game isn't without positives. Some of the locations, especially Thailand and the Mediterranean, are absolutely stunning. The problem is that after Legend brought the franchise back to life, Underworld didn't keep that momentum. It's like the series had just been rebooted and then immediately lost direction again, leading to another big change in the future of Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation. It sold 5 millions. The strong sales of Tomb Raider 4 showed that the franchise was still one of the biggest names in gaming. Even after years of annual releases, selling millions proved that players still cared about Lara Croft, and that the series had space to grow in a more story-driven and cinematic direction. The darker tone, emotional moments, and the focus on Egypt were all well received. At the time, those huge sales gave Eidos a false sense of confidence because Tomb Raider 4 performed so well. The real problems behind the scenes, like outdated tools and a tired development team, were ignored. Tomb Raider 3. It sold 6 million. Tomb Raider 3's strong sales reinforced Lara's position as one of the biggest gaming icons of the 90s. Even though the game was harder and more experimental, the high numbers proved that the fan base was loyal and willing to follow core design into more ambitious ideas. The sales also showed that the players enjoyed the globe-trotting format and freedom to choose different paths. Even though it sold very well, many fans complained about the sudden difficulty, spikes, and confusing layouts and harsh traps. Tomb Raider Legend. It sold 6.4 millions. Tomb Raider Legend is one of the best-selling games in the series because it revived the franchise at the moment when players thought Tomb Raider was dead. After Angel of Darkness disappointed fans and critics, Legend delivered exactly what people had been wanting for years. It also became a bestseller because it struck a good balance between classic Tomb Raider exploration and the 2000s style action, which brought a huge number of players back to the franchise. Marketing played a big role too. Lara's redesigned look, promotional partnerships, and strong reviews helped rebuild the public interest. Tomb Raider 2 sold 6.8 millions. Tomb Raider 2 built directly on the massive success of the first game, proving that the franchise could grow year after year. Its strong sales showed that players weren't just interested in one-time adventure, they were invested in Lara Croft and wanted more. With the resources and confidence gained from Tomb Raider 1, core design was able to expand almost every aspect of the game. Tomb Raider 2 introduced new weapons, vehicles, and gadgets, giving players more ways to explore and interact with the world. The game's commercial success helped solidify Tomb Raider as one of the most important gaming franchises of that time. It set the standard for future sequels by showing that each new entry could push the series further in scale. Tomb Raider. It sold 7.1 millions. Tomb Raider 1 had a huge impact on gaming because it showed just how powerful a fully 3D action-adventure game could be at the time. The game introduced a fresh style of exploration with vertical movement, environmental puzzles, cinematic camera angles, and large interconnected areas that felt far more realistic and immersive than anything players had seen before. Lara Croft quickly became a global gaming superstar, proving that a strong protagonist could turn a game into a cultural phenomenon. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider sold 8.9. Shadow of the Tomb Raider has a mix of strong points and some flaws. On the positive side, it features some of the best tombs in the entire reboot trilogy, with deeper puzzles and a strong focus on exploration that many longtime fans missed in the previous two games. The visuals are stunning, the world feels alive. However, the game also struggles in several areas. The story is weaker than in the previous entries. The pacing can feel uneven, and the tone sometimes doesn't feel like it's connected with the previous games. And the overall experience doesn't feel as fresh or new. Shadow didn't have as big as an impact as it could have. Rise of the Tomb Raider sold 11.8 million. Rise of the Tomb Raider is widely praised for building on everything the 2013 reboot did well, with larger areas, deeper exploration, better combat, and basically. The tombs are more complex. At the same time, the game has its flaws. The story, while solid, is often seen as predictable. Its launch as an Xbox timed exclusive also limited its initial audience, frustrating fans on other platforms. And some critics argue that the game sticks too closely to the formula of the first reboot instead of trying new things. Despite these issues, Rise of the Tomb Raider remains one of the most polished and well-loved entries in this trilogy. Tomb Raider 2013. It sold 14.5 million. This is the game that sold the most. So, this game is praised for rebooting the franchise with a grounded, emotional origin story, introducing a young Lara who is vulnerable yet determined. At the same time, it faced criticism for leaning heavily on action and gunfights, which some felt overshadowed the classic tomb exploration the series was known for. Many of the tombs were short or optional, and the story relied on familiar, gritty reboot tropes that divided opinions. Despite these criticisms, Tomb Raider 2013 is widely regarded as the game that revived the franchise again. Looking at the sales of all Tomb Raider games, some clear patterns can be seen. The titles released at the beginning of each console are often sold the most, including the Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider Legend, and Tomb Raider 2013. Then the worst ones basically are Tomb Raider Chronicles and Angel of Darkness, Underworld, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which means that people were getting sick of it. It's also important to remember that comparing sales across generations isn't straightforward. There are more players today, bigger markets, and digital distribution, so modern games have a larger potential audience. Even so, the numbers show that Tomb Raider has stayed an important and popular franchise, with fans following Lara through every era and enjoying how her adventures have grown and changed over time. Overall, the sales give a interesting look at the series' history and how the timing of its release influenced its success. So for the people that usually see my videos, I tried to be kinda neutral about my opinion. All the things that I talked is how people feel about the games, not my opinion, okay? Tell me in the comments if you are surprised by the sales, like of all the games, which ones you thought it was like the best selling game, and the worst. I think most of you will say that's Angel of Darkness. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like to help the video reach more people, and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, bye bye!